audible to you guys. Uh, Let me just check the chat. If you can hear me, can you just type a message or something so that I know that you guys can hear me? All right, so can you hear? Is it audible? Yeah. All right. Okay. So, so I hope that you guys obviously have heard from the news, the exciting news that the government has released. So there is a possibility now for local students to study medicine at KDU as well. So obviously that was possible since 2009. Local students can study medicine at KDU, but you can only do that as a cadet. So you have to enroll with the forces in order to study medicine. So since I started this YouTube channel a year ago, a lot of students have been asking me the same question: can you study as a day scholar? The answer to that question until last week was no, you can't. You can only do that through cadetship. But now, since last week, you can do that. You can apply to KDU on a payment basis to study medicine as a day scholar. So that privilege was only allowed for international students beforehand, but now local students can do that as well. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what the entry requirements, the entry fees, and a little bit about the course as well, and what to expect from this course. If you guys have any questions, drop them down in the chat, and then I'll try to answer those questions to my level best. Okay, so let's start with the entry requirements. So the first entry requirements for day scholars, for local students, are that you need to be a citizen of Sri Lanka and need to be between the age of 17 to 24. So for students who are already at 24, who have already completed 24 years, then there might be an issue there. So you have to be between 17 up to maybe 23 years and 11 months. So that gives you an idea where you stand in terms of age. Okay, you should be unmarried. So obviously you can be in a relationship as long as you know you haven't married. So in terms of qualifications, if you're a local students, graduates done the local syllabus, then you're expected to have 2 C's and 1 S in biology, chemistry, and physics respectively. Okay, so that's 2 C's in biology and chemistry, 1 S in physics. If you've done at Excel or Cambridge, again 2 C's in biology and chemistry with a D pass for physics. All right. So all the results should be achieved in one sitting. So you have the possibility, obviously you have 3 tries. So as long as you you get at least 2 C's and 1 S in one try, then you're okay to go. You can't use let's say that you get 2 C's in the first try and then you get a B in physics on the second try. You can't combine the grades. So you have to sit all those exams within one try and get the minimum requirement of 2 C's and 1 S. Okay. So with that, you need to have at least 30 marks for your common general test at A-level examinations with a credit pass, so a C for English language. Whether you're doing Cambridge or Excel or you're doing the local syllabus, as long as you have that C pass in English, you're okay. Okay, so that's basically the requirements to apply for the course. Now, one thing that you need to keep in mind is we don't know how many positions there are for local students at the moment. They haven't released that. For international students, they didn't have a limit, but I suppose for local students there could be a limit because there are a lot of you that obviously are going to be applying for this course. So one thing to keep in mind, these are the minimum requirements that you're supposed to get. The 2Cs and S are the minimum requirements. So let's say that someone else applies with 3As, obviously that candidate will be chosen before you. So if there are 200 seats for local students at KDU, and let's say that there are 150 that come with 3As, those will be selected before everyone else. Okay, so it goes, there will be a lot of competition, obviously. That's something that you need to keep in mind. Just because you have the 2Cs and S to apply, it doesn't mean that you're going to be given a seat. So there will be competition there. People with high grades will be selected before you. Right, so I hope that that made sense. I can see a question there, so I'll come back to that in just a bit. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about the course fees. So the course fees are standing at 12.5 million for the full 5 year course. So that individually for each year will be 2.5 million. Okay, so or otherwise 25 lakhs. That's the course fee for 1 year. Now, when it comes to the course fees, usually KDU doesn't like to break it down into several payments, so they're expecting full payment from you guys. So let's say for when you enroll, so now the application process opened. Once you enroll, you have to pay the 2.5 million. You can't break it down, let's say to 500,000. So if you break it down to 500,000, there will be 5 installments. You can't do that. You have to pay the full 2 million. And then usually by November you'll have to pay the other 2.5 million for the following year. So that's how it usually works. By the end of November usually you pay for the next year as well. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Okay, all right, so that's all. So there was a question here saying, hi, I wanted to know if I can apply with Edexcel AS results, but I will be doing A2 as well. I just wanted to apply early. Okay, so the thing is, because the intake 41 has already started, that started in January this year. So they are allowing students who have graduated already this year to apply basically for this current year. So because you have only AS results, obviously you don't qualify to apply this time round. So you'll have to wait until next year. So usually the course starts in January, ends in December. So that means towards the end of this year, around September, October, they'll open the new application process for intake 42. Right now it's intake 41. So because of that, since you're already done AS, I gather that you're doing A2 right now. So that means you'll have to apply in September, October for the next following intake. Okay, so this intake right now is only for students who have already got their A-level results. Okay, I hope that made sense. All right, so yeah, one thing to keep in mind, because I get this message quite a lot, is whether I, with the 2Cs and the S, can I apply to medicine and whether I'll be chosen. So keep in mind that there will be a lot of competition. A lot of the students that get selected, especially looking at cadets for instance, are the students who have really high grades. A lot of cadets have at least 3As or 2As, 1B. So people who apply with 2Cs and S don't really stand a chance obviously to get in. But that obviously keep in mind there must be a demand. So if there are 200 seats for instance, and only 100 get filled up, they will choose also the students with the 2Cs and S. So it's worth applying, but keep in mind that if you don't get selected, it's because of this reason. Your grades were not high enough, and due to the competition, you got rejected. Okay, so you'll be able to see all these details on the KDU website. So if you go to www.kdu.ac.lk, right on the front page, you'll see it says intake 31, intake 41 application process, and you can follow all the details there and make your case. Okay, so the application procedure, obviously you'll have to pay a small fee of about 3,000 rupees, which will be processed. So you'll have to confirm by getting a receipt, and together with your application, then you'll be processed. Okay, so let me just say a few more words. Obviously, 12.5 million is just a starting point. Then there are other costs that obviously they don't tell you about, like you'll have to pay for uniforms, so that's an extra cost in the beginning. There are library fees, which stands about 6,000 rupees. And there are some other miscellaneous expenses, which will stand to about 40 to 50,000 rupees initially. So obviously those are things they don't tell you, so it's a little bit more expensive than it looks. And then in terms of hostel facilities, if a lot of you are thinking of moving to the hostel, we do have a hostel at which is affiliated with the University Hospital of KDU in Verere. And yeah, I'm not particularly sure about the prices for local students, but international students pay about $300. But looking at some of my Sidon friends, they pay about 15,000 to 20,000 rupees per month for the room at KDU, at UH KDU. So that's the one thing to keep in mind. Obviously, even that, there'll be competition for the rooms. So usually people who live far away from the university are given the preference for a room. And obviously, if you live in Colombo, you might not have a chance to get a room at the hostel. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So you'll have to go ahead and look for hostel facilities nearby the campus. And so let me tell you just a little bit about the cost. There are a lot of videos obviously on my channel, so you can see those videos as well. It gives you a little bit of an idea of what it means to be a student KDU, and also about the cost structure. But technically, so the cost is 5 years, just the same as any other government university. And during the first year, you will be studying 3 subjects: anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry. So those are the first 3 subjects that you're going to be doing first year, and also for a good part of your second year. Then after that, you'll be starting clinicals. So mostly from third year onwards, you'll have clinicals, and during that time you'll also be doing some of the other subjects like biochemistry, um, pharmacology, forensics, pathology, public health. And then once you pass those, during 5th year is when you'll be doing your professorials. You'll be doing surgery, medicine, psychiatry, pediatrics, obs and gynae. Okay, so those are the subjects that you'll be doing. So there'll be a total of 14 subjects that you'll be covering during the 5 years. Okay, all right, so that's all that I wanted to tell you guys today. So if you guys have any questions, obviously drop them now. I'll be able to answer those for you. If not, let's see, let's just wait a couple of minutes, I suppose, to see if you guys have any questions. Okay, so just while we wait, just in case some people have been joining a little bit late, I'm just going to repeat some of the entry qualifications again. So you have to be, like I said, a citizen of Sri Lanka between the age of 17 to 24, and make sure obviously that because I get asked this question quite a lot, you have to be below the age of 24. So that means up to 23 years and 11 months, you're okay. If you're already 24 and beyond that, obviously that's not, you will not be able to apply for the course. You'll be able to apply, but you'll be rejected because of that basis. Okay, even though you might have even 3 A's for your A-levels, just because of that reason, you'll be rejected. Okay, so you also have to be unmarried, and when it comes to A-level grades, you need a minimum of 2 C's and 1 S in biology, chemistry, and physics, respectively. if you have done London A-levels, again you can still apply. It's not just for the local syllabus. You guys can also apply, and you guys have to get 2 C's and 1 D. So in biology, chemistry, and physics, respectively. Like I said before, this is going to be a competition. So just because you have the 2 C's and 1 S doesn't mean that you guys are going to get in. So there'll be a competition. If there's someone else with 3 A's, that person will be selected before you. And like that, there's a number of seats available at the university. So we don't know how many seats are available. So that's up to the university, obviously, to decide how many students to take each year, according to the demand. So if there are 200 students with 3 A's, those will be selected before the students with 2 C's and 1 S. So if there are 500 applications and there are only 200 seats, the first 200 with the best grades are going to be selected, and the other 300 are going to be rejected. Okay, so keep in mind that that's a thing here. Just because you have the 2 C's and 1 S doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get in. All the results need to be passed on the same sitting. Obviously, you have 3 shies, but you have to pass them within 1 shy, where you get at least 2 C's and 1 S as minimum requirements. So I see that there is a question. If you got rejected applying this time, and when you apply the next year, maybe with better results, will it affect their admission? Like if they reject you once, will they reconsider you? Yeah, that's fine. You can apply. If you get rejected, you can do your exams again, get better grades, and then reapply. That's not a problem. Okay, as long as obviously you meet their requirements, you're okay. But like I said, it's all based on the grades that you get. So it's all about the competition. If someone has better grades than you, obviously they're going to give them first choice, and you become second choice. Okay, so better your grades, better your chances of getting in. And obviously something to keep in mind is that the course fees. Obviously, a lot of people, you might not be able to afford the 2.5 million per year. So obviously that gives better chance for you guys when it comes to that. So a lot of people obviously are going to be rejected just because of that reason. Okay, so something that on the website they don't say is that they look whether you guys are able to pay for the tuition fees. So your parents' incomes, especially your father's, will be assessed. They will ask for bank statements. They will ask for basically proof that you have the money to pay for the course fees. And what I said before was that the course fees stand at 12.5 million for the full course, which means 2.5 million per year for 5 years, and you have to pay for those. The tuition fees need to be paid in one go for that given year. So right now the application process is until the 9th of May, if I'm not mistaken. You'll have to pay that 2.5 million after registration right away. You can't break it down into installments. For example, let's say 500,000 installment plan into 5, let's say 5 installments. You can't do that. You'll have to pay the full amount in one go. So that's something that they are quite adamant in. So even if you make your case, you request them to make installments, they will not allow you to do that. So you'll have to be able to pay that 2.5 million upfront. And one thing to keep in mind is that every November you'll have to pay for the next following year. So right now, if in May you pay the 2.5 million, the same process will happen in November of this year, where you'll have to pay the next following 2.5 million for your second year. And that's how it goes for every single year up to your 5 years finish. Okay, with that, obviously there are a few more expenses like uniform expenses, there are library charges, and with that there are also a few more expenses which I won't obviously not able to tell you guys everything here, but I would say between 30,000 to 50,000 there will be a few more expenses for you guys during the course of the 5 years. Things to keep in mind: the library, obviously, they do have a lot of books and stuff like that, but you might have to go and buy obviously additional equipment, books that will be needed for the course. That's obviously up to you. You can either use books, or go for PDF files and things like that. So obviously it's according to your preferences and how much obviously you're willing to spend during the course of the 5 years. So if you have questions, obviously the live chat is on. You guys can ask your questions. Okay. All right. So how to apply? Obviously, if you can go through the KDU website at www.kdu.ac.lk, and you'll see right on the first page that they have information on how to apply for the course. You have to pay a 3,000 rupees non-refundable fee for with the application process, which can be submitted online. And I think they will, as soon as you send it, within a couple of weeks they'll come back to you with your either rejection or approval. Okay, so keep in mind that intake 41 has already started in January, so you guys will be a little bit behind schedule. They've already done about 3 months worth of the syllabus for anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry, so you'll have to catch up on that. They've stopped now all the lectures until the new batch of local students are going to join them. Okay, but about 3 months, you'll have a small delay of about 3 months. You'll have to catch up on those 3 months. And so, do you guys have any questions to ask? So a little bit about the structure. Like I said before, it's going to be 5 years, and it's very similar to the structure of all the other local universities. During the first 1.5 years, you'll be doing anatomy, biochemistry, physiology. And then after that, you'll be starting with clinicals up to 5th year. And during that time, obviously, you're going to be doing some more extra subjects. So keep in mind that there are 14 subjects that you're going to be studying throughout the 5 years. And you'll be joining basically a lot of, there will be cadets, there will be also a lot of international students within your batch. So another question that I get asked a lot is whether you'll have to get involved in the physical activities the cadets get involved in. You don't have to do that. So as private students, you don't do that. So that's only for the students who are involved, for all the students, basically for all the cadets. Okay, so again, if there are some students like you who are doing London A-levels, who are doing AS and A2, you can't apply with your AS results for this intake. You'll have to wait for the next intake in order to apply to study medicine. So you'll have to have your final grade, so your A2 grades, in order to apply. Okay, so this year is all already for the students who have already finished their A-levels and they have already their grades on their hands, and that if they can show those results to the students, then to the university, then you get a chance to enroll to the intake 41. Alright, so I see that there are no more questions, so I'll end this live today. If you guys have any more questions, there will be a further live tomorrow as well, so let your friends know if no one was able to get into the live. So I see another question: when will the next intake start? Is it like in September this year? Yeah, so they usually open the application for new intakes around September time, September, October. it could be even August. But I think obviously you have to keep looking at the KDU website. So they won't email you or anything like that. Obviously you have to check the KDU website constantly. All the notifications will be on the first page. They will say nice and big intake 42 admission procedures and so on. So you click on those and you make your case. Okay, you pay your application fees, you fill your application with your grades and so on, and then uh, you'll wait for basically for your acceptance or rejection. Okay, so after the degree, do we get all right, so there's one more question. After degree, do we get direct SLMC registration? Okay, so for that question, it's a little bit complicated to answer that one because so far what's happening is basically if you want to do your internship here in Sri Lanka, you need to have done biology, chemistry, physics. Now, for us international students, if we don't have physics, obviously we can't do the internship. But all the cadets, because obviously they're local students who have done the 3 subjects, they have the possibility to do internship and then to get the SLMC registration. Now, for you guys, it's not that obviously because this is a new case, there's obviously not been any information out there. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen. But that's especially for day scholars. Okay, so as a day scholar, obviously you can apply for SLMC registration to do the internship, having provided that you have done biology, chemistry, and physics. Now the problem here is because government universities and us as KDU, it's the experience is a little bit different. So all the government universities sit the same final exam during 5th year. So they get allocated places to do the internship and to gain SLMC registration before us. While our exams are different. So we don't sit the same exam that they sit, and because of that reason, our list comes at the end of after all the government universities. So our chances of getting, like for example in like Colombo Hospital, the General Hospital, are very limited, almost non-existent. So we get sent to peripheral hospitals like outside of Colombo to do our internship. But yes, the simple answer for your question is yes, we do get SLNC registration after finishing the 5 years and after doing the internship. You have to do an internship in order to get your SLNC registration. But like if you get international students, for example, graduate from other universities, if you're a Lankan student, you got in Malaysia, you can't get directly SLNC registration. You'll have to do a exam. Once you pass that exam, then you'll be able to apply for SLMC registration after doing an internship. But obviously we don't have to do that as day scholars because we follow the same syllabus that has already been accepted by the SLMC council. Then you have the chance to go directly and gain basically SLMC registration. I hope that makes sense. Okay. And talking, okay, so I'm just gonna, since there are new people, about hostel facilities. Now there are a lot of places around the university where you have a lot of rooms for students, so you can get those. But there is also a hostel with the university, affiliated with the university within the University Hospital of KDU. So you can apply for a room there as well. But keep in mind that if you're within Colombo, your chances of getting obviously a room are much smaller than someone who's coming from outside. So those people will be given the preference for a room at KDU. Okay. In terms of fees, it will be about 15,000 per month, 15 to 20,000 per month. Obviously, the local fees are a little bit different from the international fees, so that's something to keep in mind. That could vary. So that's not included in the 2.5 million tuition fees that you'll be paying. So that's a separate cost. Okay. So with that, you also keep in mind that obviously food expenses, transport to the university, those are something that you'll have to pay for, right? So I see that there are no more questions, but like I said, there will be a few further lives during these days. So there'll be one tomorrow again. So make sure to look at the community chat of my channel. So I'll be updating you guys on there as well. And there will be one tomorrow as well, tomorrow night. So if you have any further questions that you want to ask me, there obviously you can't come up with right now, so make sure to ask those tomorrow. Okay, so with that said, I'll end today's live. So make sure that you apply before the 9th of May. Okay, all right. So I see no more questions. I'm gonna close the live now. Thanks for participating.